DJ-808 is a very versatile DJ instrument with lots of different applications. So next up, we're going to discuss a somewhat contentious topic, sync. Now, in certain circles, people think that sync is cheating. But in the realm of the DJ-808, it is the foundation of getting everything to work together. Without sync, you're basically going to be facing 1,000 horses, shoes in the dryer. We don't want this when we're playing out. We want people to keep dancing. So we're going to have to use sync. The foundation of sync is the beat grid. In order to access your beat grids in your tracks, you're going to have to first analyze those tracks in Serato DJ. To do that, you're going to want to be in offline mode, which means unplugging the DJ-808 from your computer. And you're going to see a little button here that says Analyze Files. Next to that, there's a drop-down menu that says Set Key or Set Beat Grid BPM. Those are the analysis settings. And you can leave both of those checked, but right now we're concerned with setting the beat grid and the BPM. You can analyze individual tracks by dragging and dropping those onto the Analyze Files button. Or as you saw earlier, here you can analyze your entire library, which will likely take a long time, but it's definitely worth doing. Now on a typical DJ controller, the sync function allows a DJ to beat match two different songs automatically without having to use the tempo slider. In the case of the DJ-808, you can do that, but it's important to use sync in order to get your TRS to play in time with your Serato decks. Let's have a quick listen of the TRS out of sync with our Serato deck. A hot mess. The beats don't line up. It doesn't sound very good. Let's hear it in sync this time. Now if I speed one device up, the other will follow. So there you have it, locked up, sounding good, nice and tight together. How do you make sure that the sync is actually going to work in Serato with the DJ-808? Well, there's a little bit of prep work you have to do beforehand, and that involves analyzing your tracks and setting the beat grid. What a beat grid is a grid that overlays all your songs and waveforms and tells the software where the beats are in the song. So where the first measure is all the way through to the end of the track. So let's load this track onto the Serato deck to have a look at the beat grid. We can see here some numbers and some lines. The numbers represent the bar numbers and the lines are the beat markers. Now this first one here is red. That's a beat warp marker, which means that that's going to stay in place. That's locked, and that's representing the beginning of the song. If we go over, we see white lines. Those are basically just regular warp markers, and those can slide around if we need to in order to adjust the timing if it slides off over time. Now, if you don't see the beat grid overlaying the track, you might have to come into your setup screen, DJ preferences, and make sure that the sync is on. Oftentimes it's going to be off. You can select simple sync here. Now, as well as snap to beat grid is not on, you won't see it. So make sure that that box is ticked. Now, very briefly, there's two different sync modes, simple sync and smart sync. Simple sync aligns the transients and matches the beats per minute. With smart sync, it'll actually line up the beat grids. They're engaged in different ways, and for more information, I advise checking out the Serato manual. But for the simplicity of just getting into this, simple sync is the one to use. Now, in your Serato library, you're likely to have two different kinds of songs, quantized and unquantized. With quantized music, we're talking about songs that have been made with a sequencer, where the tempo doesn't vary from beginning to end. These types of tracks are easy for Serato to analyze and to overlay a beat grid to. With unquantized music, we're talking about live music played by human beings. So with these songs, you're often going to have slight variations of the tempo throughout the tune. Now, in order to beat grid a song like that, you're going to have to do that manually. This also applies to transition tracks where tempo might change. To do this, you're going to want to enter the edit grid mode. And let's have a listen to this song here. We're going to line up the first beat, and we're going to hit set. The keyboard shortcut is X, and alternatively, you can hit Shift ADJ on your DJ-808. That's going to set the beat marker as well. When we get to the next measure, we're going to do the same thing on the first beat. Now you could do that for the whole song, or you could just focus on a particular portion of the song that you know you want to use, like the break. But this is a really great way to bring your classic cuts to life, to bolster them with the sounds firing off the TRS or off your Serato sampler, as well as using some of the advanced features on the pads like the slicer or the beat jump, loop roll, tempo licked effects. All these things will now sync up nice and tight with your classic cuts. Okay, we've got the beat grid set up. We're ready to sync. Reverse that process if you want to sync the TRS tempo to the Serato deck. Changing the tempo on one device will affect the other device, keeping them locked together. You can also change the tempo range by holding Shift, pressing down or up in the key sync part right here. From ±8 all the way to ±50.